Hi everyone, very good morning. Welcome to my channel Learn It with Venkat. I am Dr. Venkatesan. In this video, we are going to see about CISCO Packet Tracer. This is the first video for the CISCO Packet Tracer. CISCO Packet Tracer is going to be the CISCO proprietary software, which is a network simulator which is used for our practice and design of local area network to any big network we can design in it, and we can do all the configurations of network using this software. So here I am using the version 7.2.2 to demonstrate the simple local area network creations. Okay, let me start the video. So this is that simulation tool. So here this area which is going to be the work area, the center white part, and the bottom left corner which has some devices. So the leftmost devices starts with network devices, and bottom of that you could see router, switches, hubs, wireless devices, security, and WAN emulations, wide area network emulations. And once you click each devices, you could see the supporting devices in that list. Okay, here you could get the list of devices which is under that device. Router means you will get different versions of router. If you click switches means different versions of switches you will get. And like next n devices, if you click the n devices, you could see so many n devices listed. So like that you can choose different devices to plot your topology. So here in this video I am going to explain about how to create a local area network. So before that we have to know what is local area network, which is simply we called it as a LAN, which is local area network. So by simply we can say it could be a small building or an office, could be any industry, or it could be any organization, or it could be any small shops, or small shops to any big shopping malls. So the local area network, which is going to be a small area space network, ranges from small office, small building to very big industry and very big organization or any institutions. Actually, this local area network is divided into three layers. If you talk in technical, this local area network is divided into three layers. The first layer we called it as access layer, and the second one we called it as distribution layer, and the third one we called it as core layer. So these three layers are going to be in the local area network. What is access layer? Access layer is deal with access layer is deal with the end devices. End devices is nothing but your computers, laptops, smartphones, and of course server which the users can directly interact with it. These devices are, we call it as end devices, where the users directly can interact. Servers and printers, okay, and so on. So you can add some more devices also. And coming to the second layer, which is distribution layer. Distribution layer is going to have multiple switches to carry the frames inside your local area network. Actually, this distribution layer mainly for the purpose of fault tolerance, which means any failure in any link or any devices will not affect your data transmission. So is there any link failure or any device, for example any one switch is getting fault, it should not affect the overall data transmission in your network. So it should be a fault tolerant one. So whatever happens, it should not affect your job task. Okay. And the last layer, topmost layer, we called it as a core layer, which is going to act as a backbone layer, which contains basically your routers router. Okay, this is about the basic outline of local area network. So here I am going to create a topology with all these three layers. So starts with the access layer. So for the access layer, as I told you, it is going to have the end devices. So here I am choosing the end devices. Go to the left bottom. So end devices, here you could see there are so many end devices. Let me take PC, laptop, and server, and printer. Okay, so these are the four end devices which is going to act in my access layer. So I'm just relabeling it. It starts with the number index 0, so no need to have that 0. So I'm just relabeled. Okay, and this is my access layer. So next layer we call it as distribution layer, which we have multiple switches. So here if you go to the end device, network devices, bottom you can see router, and the second one we call it as a switch. So here you have to plat more than one switches. So for that, here you can choose 2960 switch, and here you can put it, but every time you have to choose and put it in your work area. So to avoid it, when before you select the devices, you can hold your control button and select the device and release the control button. So by using it, you can put the device multiple number of times. So here 5 switches, for just for an example I am plotting. This is very simple local area network. Later on upcoming videos I will go with very big topology, like one industry with multiple floors. Each floors will have different labs or different offices. Like that we will extend the network in the upcoming videos. This is for making you to understand the simple local area setup, how I can go with that. Okay, so here I have added 5 switches. So here still my switch selection is on here, you can see here. So just give the escape button, your selection will go off. Okay, so here you can adjust the topology as per your arrangement. So after this, the last layer is going to have my router, which is my core backbone layer, which is going to act as a router. So as I told you, router, this is going to act as a gateway, which is going to act as a gateway, which is nothing but a gateway in the sense which acts as an entry and exit point of your network. So all your data generated in your network will go into the gateway, or many packets coming from outside world will enter into your network through your router. So it is acting as a gateway. So here I am selecting a router. You have so many versions, so let it be 2811 router I am choosing. So this is my router. This is nothing but it's a gateway. So as I told you, the data generated in your network will go to the outside world. This is the outside world through this gateway, and the data coming from the outside world is getting into your network through your gateway. So that is called as a gateway, like normal security gate. If you want to go into college, for example, you have to go only through the security gate. So that gate is acting as a entry point, and if anyone from inside the college wants to come out, that is going to act as a exit point. So like that, this router is going to act as an entry and exit point of this local area network. So all the devices required for your local area networks here I factored. Next I have to give the connection. So for that, left hand side bottom, if you go, there will be a option for giving connection. So click the connection. Here you could see there are so many connections, like first one is automatically choose. This is very simple one, and console port, and straight through copper, and crossover copper, and fiber, serial, IoT console, so many cables are there. So for plotting the local area network, we need copper cable support. So for copper cable, we have two copper cables, one is straight through and crossover. Actually there will be some confusion which cable I have to choose. Very simple. If you are choosing a crossover cable, the crossover cable is used to connect the same devices. Understand? The crossover cable is used to connect the same devices. For example, see, using control, I am choosing the crossover cable. So here, same devices. So switch to switch. So switch. If I am clicking the switch, this switch is consists of 24 ports of fast Ethernet and 2 ports for gigabit Ethernet. So here first I am choosing the first port, fast Ethernet 0/1, and here I am connecting with the second switch 0/1. So like this. So this is switch and this is also switch. So connecting two same devices, we have to use the crossover cable. So like that you can choose it to connect all the switches. So I am connecting all the switches with multiple links. Why multiple links? This is used for distribution and for fault tolerance. So if any one link is getting down, it will reach your destination through the another link. So it should provide the fault tolerance. And followed by that, this switch to the core switch, and this switch to the core switch. So here also I am giving multiple link, because any one link is getting down, the data will go to the router with the another link. So fault tolerance is made. After this, you could see all the switches connected here by using the crossover cable. Remaining is different devices. Switch to laptop, switch to PC, switch to server, printer, and switch to router. So if you are going to connect two different devices, means you have to choose the another one, which is nothing but straight through. Connecting different devices straight through cable, connecting same devices crossover cable. Okay. So here control straight through cable. So switch, I am connecting to PC. Here PC fast Ethernet. Okay, that is going to be your NIC, network interface card. So to laptop. For example, suppose if you are not willing to go with this specific selection, just give escape. The first option, as I told you before, which is automatically choose connection. So this will decide based on the devices which you are selecting. Automatically the cable will be decided by the CISCO Packet Tracer itself. So control automatic selection. So now it won't ask you any port, any cable like that. It will automatically choose. So no need to worry about which cable, which port. No need to worry about it. Just automatic connection you can choose, and you can start connecting. As I told you, if you want to connect more link, means you have to select it by holding the control button. Okay, so now every connections finished. So just give escape, and this is my network, local area network. So this is my top layer, core layer, and this part is going to be my distribution layer, and this part is going to be my access layer. So as I said before, three layers we have created in the devices. Okay, now next job is the step configuration steps. So what are the configurations I have to do for making this network to work? Okay, so assume that here you can see it's a label node. So this is my local area network with the network address 192.168.1.0/24 is my network IP address, network IP address. So here I am just giving, assume that the local area network address is 192.168.1.0/24. Class C address it is later in the upcoming videos I will tell you how you can identify it is class A, class B or class C, how it is 24 means what, that and all I will take, subnetting VLS and all I will take it in the upcoming classes. Okay, as of now you please assume that the network address given for this scenario is 192.168.1.0/24. 24 is the network bits. Actually, your IP address contains two portion. One is network portion and the host portion. And it is having four octets. 1, 2, 3, 4. Four octets. Octets means 8 bits. Okay. So 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 8. So 32 bits. As I said before, this is class C. So for class C by default 24 bits. 24 bits in the sense first octet, second octet and third octet is for network and the last octet is given for the host. So first step is going to assign the IP address on the router or nothing but it's a gateway. Okay. So here you can see, zooming it. Okay, so this is my router. So router interface is fast Ethernet 0/0. So click the router and here you could see four menus: physical, config and CLI. So CLI is a command line interface where you can configure. In the very beginning it will ask you the confirmation, would you like to enter initial configuration or not. Just give no. Okay, and then once you click enter it will go to the first mode. The router switch is working on three modes basically. Actually router or switch uh, working modes. Okay, actually three modes. That would be first mode is we call it as a user mode. User mode is like router greater than symbol. Router greater than symbol. Just like here you can see router greater than symbol, it's a user mode. If you give question mark, here you can find out what are the commands you can use it and it will give you some brief description about the command. So here you can find some commands here. Here first, later you will get to know what is about each command. Uh, to move to the next mode, I have to give the command called enable. Here you have turn on to privilege command. So enable is the command to make your router to go to the next mode. You can type fully or en, use the tab key. Tab, if you give tab key, it will be extend enable and give enter. So you can see the greater than symbol change to hash symbol. So the next mode is privilege mode. It looks like router hash symbol. And the last third mode we called it as configuration mode. Here only you have to do all the configuration. So router, how it is going to be means router of config it is going to be. So how I can go into this mode. So if you give question mark, here you can do a lot compared to the user mode. There are multiple commands you can do. Okay, but how I can move to this configuration mode means conf tab, which is configure your terminal. As I told you, type ter and give tab. It will get you the full command. Configure terminal, give enter. Okay, now you can see it is coming into the configuration mode, which is we call it as global configuration mode. Okay, so here I am type the command which is enable and here configure terminal. So this is a global configuration mode, and next to that we call it as specific configuration mode. After that, whatever you are doing, we call it as specific configuration. The specific configuration mode means, for example, as I told you here, you are going to configure the IP address. Okay, so for configuring the IP address, you have to go to the interface. So what is your interface number? Fast Ethernet 0/0. So here you are going to configure specific interface. So inter tab, so interface FA tab, fast Ethernet. What is the number of your fast Ethernet port connected to your router? 0/0. So enter. So you can see now config hyphen if, config router of config hyphen if hash. So this is the global configuration, and once you start specific configuration, it will go to the specific mode. Specific mode in the sense what actually you are configuring. So here I am actually configuring the interface. So config hyphen interface is the command. Okay, these are all the commands which I am doing. Okay, here I have given interface fast ethernet 0/0. So after that, this is the command. So router of config hyphen if hash. So now I have to configure the IP address of that interface. So here, what IP address I could assign? So assign 192.168.1.1, the first IP address /24 to the router. So the first IP, as I told you, this is 1.0 is my network address. So as I told you, the last actor is going to be the host portion. So the first IP in your host portion, I am going to assign it for the router interface. To the router interface. So here I am going to configure IP address 192.168.1.1 space 255.255.255.0. Why 255.255.255.0 means it is going to have the subnet mask 24. 24 means, as I told you, 3 actors. So 255.255.255.0. Okay, if all 8 bits are ones means it is going to be full. So maximum 255.255.255.0. If you are not getting clear on this means, later I will take separate session for handling this IP address and its basic details. There you could understand. So this is my command. So here I am typing the command IP address space your IP address 192.168.1.1 and your subnet mask 255.0. Give a space here. Okay, here you have to give a space and give enter. So now your IP assigned, but if you go to the topology, still your interface color is red color. It is not up. If it is in red color means the port is down. So I have to make this port up. So what is the command I have to give it here to make this port up means you have to give no shutdown. No shutdown is the command to make your port up. Okay, once you have given this no shutdown, you can see here the red color becomes green color. Here you will get a notification the change the interface state change to up. Okay, now you could see here port is up now. Okay, exit is used exit is the command used to come out of the mode. So specific mode, I am just coming back, exit from the global configuration. Here right now I am in the privilege mode. Okay, so here I have done some configuration here. So here I have to do save the configuration, because without save your configuration, if you close this packet tracer file, all your configuration will be lost when you open it next time. So I have to save this file configuration. So I have to give the command called copy. Right now the configuration is in the running configuration file, and I am going to copy to the startup configuration. So the command to copy your file is copy run configuration to startup configuration is the command. Give enter and again give enter. It's the confirmation. Like this also you can do, or simply you can give write command. So these two commands doing same job. Write means by default it will copy your running configuration to the startup configuration. Both command can be used. Okay, so here I typing. So after this I have given router config hyphen if and no shutdown I have given. After that router config hyphen if as I have given exit command and move to privilege mode, and here you can give copy run space start, which is running to startup configuration, or you could give the command called write. Both commands same. Okay, so this is about assigning the IP address for your router. Now you do you think that configuration is over? No, actually no. So now you have configured the IP address, but there is no IP address details for the end devices. Okay, so this PC could not be communicate with the laptop or any other devices. So all these end devices should have the basic configuration. If you go to PC, click the PC, and here you could see some of the menus. Go to desktop, third icon, and here IP config. Here you can see there is no IP address. So what are the basic configuration needed for the end devices to take part in the network? Means there should be four basic configuration must be there. One is IP address and subnet mask, and what is my default gateway, and what is my DNS server. So these four are my basic configuration what is required to make this PC to take part in your local area network. So you could do this statically and also dynamically, that is DHCP. So I will show you demo of both, how you can do it in static and how you can do it in DLCP. First I will do it with static. So 192, you know your network address 192.168.1.0 is your network address, and 1.1 given to your router. So next IP address I am giving to this PC. So 192.168.1.2. Give tab. Once you give the tab, automatically it will select the default subnet mask. No need to change it because here we have taken 24 only. And gateway. So you know what is the gateway of your network. So 192.168.1.1 is your gateway. That is your router IP. Okay, here you can type the IP address, which could be easy. 192.168.1.1/24 is your router IP. DNS server in your network, just have a look whether you have a server or not. Yes, I have a server. For assumption, server should be a static IP always. So I am deciding my server IP is going to be 192.168.1. Let it be 100. I am deciding my server IP as 100. Okay. So these four details I have given. So say I told you before, I have decided my server IP as 192.168.1.100/24. So this is my server IP. So remind that the server IP should be always static. Okay, should not be DHCP, because DHCP will change the IP address every time when it boots up. Okay, so go to your server desktop. So here you assign your server IP 192.168.1.100 as you decided. Give the tab into next uh, option, and your default gateway 192.168.1.1 is your gateway, and DNS is going to be the same server 1.100. If you want to make different server for your web and for DNS, it is your choice, but here in this topology I am having only one server, so the same server is going to act as a DNS server. So this is my option. Okay, so just close it and go to your laptop desktop, same IP. Here 192.168.1.3, because 2 already given for PC, and default gateway 192.168.1.1 and server 192.168.1.100. Fine. So devices, if you click the printer here, which is not having desktop here, so here you have only physical and config and attribute. So in the config, here you can assign your settings. here you can see the static and DHCP. So here I'm going to give just a detail. So 192.168.1.1 is my gateway and 192.168.1.100 is my DNS server. And if you click the fast Ethernet which is connected with your switch, so here I am going to give the static IP. So 192.168.1. Already 2 given for PC, 3 given for laptop. So here I am giving it for 4 and subnet mask. That's it. Close it. And here you could see the double arrow which is fast forward, which is making all the devices to synchronize. So I have assigned statically to all the devices IP address and its basic details. Now I want to check. So click the PC, go to desktop, and here you will have a command prompt. So first I wish to ping my gateway. This is my gateway. Right now I am from PC. So I want to check whether the connectivity 192.168.1.1 is my gateway. Yes, I am getting the reply. So from my PC I could connect with the gateway. And let me check with server 192.168.1.100 is my server. Yes, I can ping my server. And ping 192.168.1.2 sorry 3 is my laptop. Yes, laptop is also. So from PC I can easily connect with all the other devices, but here all the end devices I have assigned statically. Okay. And for example server, I will take a separate video for all the services of server. Simple server services like we used to do for HTTP. So just we have on HTTP and HTTP services. Here there are some predefined web pages. Okay, let me check. Okay, so go to the PC and go to desktop, and here you have a web browser. Click the web browser, and here just type 192.168.1.100 your server IP and click it. See, you could get the page and small page back. So here web page, web access you can access. Here you can see the web pages here. Hello world image that and all. Here you can, these links are this one. Okay, so now it is working fine. Suppose, see, this is a local area network. For example, it's a small company. Assume that that company is going to have only like 10 to 20 computers, laptops. So it is very easy for the administrator to configure it manually. But assume that if you are going for a supermarket, or if you go in for a institute, or if you go for any organization, in that organization there might be more than thousands and thousands of computers. Do you think the administrator will go and sit in with each end devices and configure everything in all the devices? No, definitely not. So what I should do, I have to configure it in dynamic way, so through that all the end devices should get their basic configuration details. Okay, so how I can do it? So here if you go to your desktop, IP config, so statically you have assigned, suppose if I am requesting for DHCP means dynamic host configuration protocol. See, you will not get it the IP address, you will get by using APIPA means automatic private IP address assignment. Okay, automatic private IP address assignment. Okay, so this is the private IP address assignment. This is generated by APIPA. APIPA is one of the technology. If there is no DHCP server or DHCP configuration, this will give you one IP address, so you will not get any DHCP IP address based on your network address. So I have to configure. So this next step I wish to change is configure DHCP. DHCP means dynamic host configuration protocol. protocol, which is which helps the end devices to obtain the basic configuration automatically. This will help the end devices to obtain the basic configuration automatically. So what are the basic configuration? As we have discussed, IP address, next you know that subnet mask, and you know that it's a default gateway, and is going to be your DNS server. So these four are the basic configuration should be needed for all the end devices to take part in your network. So you notice that I previously I configured all the end devices manually for all this basic configuration. Now I want to make it as automatically. Okay. So second where I can where I could configure the DHCP. So where you could configure means you could configure it in router, and also you could configure it in server machine. So two places you can configure. As I told you, this is the configuration which you can do it in the actual router also. There is no difference. So Cisco Packet Tracer is providing the simulation, but that simulation is not having any difference with the real devices. So the same commands whichever here we have used, the same commands you could use it in the real devices. So that is our strength of Cisco Packet Tracer, which will give you the real-time exposure to configure, so which is very easy and very interesting too. So for the DHCP configuration, you could configure it in router, or you could configure it in server. Any one you have to do it. So now I will tell you how to configure it in router first. Okay, first I will start with the router for DHCP. Okay, router. So click the router. As I told you, go to CLI mode, enable. En is the short term. Okay, no need to type enable as a full command. You can give the shorthand short nodes. Okay, configure terminal, CONFT is shorthand words for configure terminal. And now I want to configure the DHCP. Okay, so IP DHCP. First, you have to exclude the IP address. What is exclude? See, DHCP means automatically it will assign the IP address and subnet mask and default gateway and DNS to the end device. Look at here, this router is already configured with one IP address for your network. That IP address is 1.1. So this IP address should not be used by your DHCP. Am I right? Because it is already used. Okay, so you have to exclude this IP address from your DHCP service. So 192.168.1.1 you have to exclude. Excluded means remove it. Okay, so why I am removing it? This IP address already I have assigned to the fast Ethernet, so no need to reuse it, because then there will be a conflict if you are using it two times. Okay, now I have to configure the DHCP. So IP DHCP pool. Pool name is nothing but repository. So here I am giving it as LAN. LAN is my pool name. So I could type it here also, which you can see it. Or here I can directly copy it, and here I can paste it. So first you have to exclude it. After that exclusion, you have to create a pool for your sorry. Ouch. Copy. Here I have copied both the commands. First you have to exclude the IP address, and this is the actual step for DHCP. First you have to create a pool name. My pool name, you can give any name. I am just giving it as local area. For example, I am here giving it as local area network. So you could see here, once you have entered, it entered into the global configuration to the specific configuration DHCP-config. So here I have to instruct this router for which network I am providing. So network is the command 192.168.1.0 is my network address, and 255.255. Suppose if you forget, if you give enter, it will tell you it is incomplete. Okay, suppose you don't know, if you forget what should be next, just give question mark. If you give question mark, it will instruct you what should come next. Okay, so next would be your network mask. So here you have to give your network mask 255.255.255.0. Understand? So router, once from global configuration to specific configuration, and instructing my router for which network I am creating this DHCP. So 192.168.1.0 is my network address and subnet mask I have given. And what is the third step? What is the third step? Third step, see here, IP address from this network, subnet mask from this subnet mask, two things finished. Okay, and what is the third one? Default gateway. So next one is going to be your default gateway. So default router is the command. Just type def and give tab key. No need to worry about the commands, no need to type it fully. Default router, you know your router IP address 192.168.1.1 is your router. Remind that this is your router IP. Okay, this IP I have given it here, so just give enter. So this is the third. And what is the fourth? Your DNS server. So same simple command, DNS tab, your DNS server IP address. What is your DNS server IP address? 1.100. So 192.168.1.100. Just give enter. That's it. So this is the fourth configuration. So these commands are used for DHCP in router. Okay, here in router. So you can use exit command to come out. It will be back one by one. Suppose if you give end command, it will directly takes you to the privilege mode. No need to move one by one. Directly you can go to the privilege mode by using end command. As I told you before, you have to copy your or save your configuration. So WR is the shorthand for write. Okay, or you could use copy, run space, start. Both are same. Okay, so I have copied. Suppose if you want to see what are all the configuration you have done it, what are the configuration you so far you have done it. If you want to list out it, you have to use a command called show space run. That means running configuration, and give enter. Now you can see your router's configuration. This will give you all configuration in your router. So it will give you host name. I didn't change my host name, so it will be router, and I excluded the IP address, and I have created the DHCP pool LAN. What is the IP network IP? What is the router IP? What is the DNS server IP? And enter, and here you have assigned the fast ethernet port IP address and subnet mask, and these are all your configurations what you have done. So by looking at this, you can ensure what you have done, and this command is used for troubleshoot also, to find out what is your mistake. So run. So here router has, so run is the command. Okay, now check for DHCP. Again, left hand side bottom, fast forward, you just click this double arrow and click the PC again. Go, yes, see here, already here DHCP now it receives the IP. So static, move back and check whether all details, yes, see all details received from your router. Okay, check with the other devices also. Go to laptop, IP config. Now it is in static. Now I am going to check for DHCP. Yes, receiving IP from, whether we have to do it for server, whether we have to do it for server, no, we should not do it, because server should be static. Then you can ask me a question like, why here DHCP? Suppose in your network you might have two servers, proxy server or something else. For that, in that case, very rare the the supporting servers may get the IP address from the main server. So this DHCP means this server is going to act as a supporting server. That means that in that case you could use DHCP, but in this topology this is the only server, so static server. Okay, and printer and DHCP, yes, it is receiving DHCP. Okay, so now all the devices receive. Now let me check the communication. So now I am choosing laptop. So ping 192.168.1.1. Yes, gateway is pinging, and my server. Yes, server is also pinging, and my computer missing. Yes. So now all the devices connect with one another. From router also, here you can check ping 192.168.1.100. Yes, first time it will be like 80% because first it will search for the device. So if you re-execute it, you will get 100% success. Okay, so all the devices in your local area network now connecting with one another. Okay, so as I told you before, you have configured it in router now. Now I will tell you how to configure it in server. Okay, click the server and go to service tab, third tab, and here you see the DHCP. So click the DHCP and make the service on. And as like in the coding part, here you have to create a pool name. Here LAN is my pool name, and default gateway 192.168.1.1 is my gateway. DNS is 192.168.1.100 is my DNS server. Starting IP should be 192.168.1.2 is my starting because 1 already assigned to gateway, so 2 is my starting IP. 255.255.255.0 is my subnet mask. How many maximum number of users? You put maximum 255, you can use it because it's the third class 3. So last fourth acted is for host, so 255 maximum IPs you can use it. Here you can restrict like 100, 50, 10, like that you can restrict. And here you have to add it. So once you have add here that LAN pool added in your server. Okay, now you think that in your now you have a look here, you have two DHCP, one is in server and one is in router. Is it good? No, any one DHCP should be there, otherwise it will be conflict. So if you are using a server as a DHCP server, remove the configuration in router, or if you want to use it in router, remove the configuration in server. Now first I show you in router, and now I want to show you in server. So I am going to remove the configuration of LAN from the router. So how I can remove it? So go to your configuration, global configuration, very simple, just give no IP DHCP pool and your pool name. Your pool name you have already so run configuration, your full name is LAN. So just no is the command in the prefix to remove it. No means remove, erase it. So no space IP DHCP pool LAN. Give enter. That's it. And give end command. Now so run and check whether that pool is exist or not. See, there is no pool. No pool here. So that pool removed. Now okay, you have removed, this is very important, very important to know if you go for configuring DHCP in your server. Okay, it's a real time also, it is very important. Now check in your PC, go to your IP config and switch back to DHCP and check whether your PC is getting IP or not. See, here you are getting, but here you are not getting what? Your default gateway. And go to here same, switch back DHCP. See, again your default gateway is not updated. So what is the problem? Now ping it, check it. So go to your PC, ping 192.168.1.1 your gateway, and now your gateway is pinging, and to your laptop and your server. Okay, now everything is syncing with one another. Fast forward I have given and go to the laptop, and here I am using the same command, my gateway and my router. Okay, by default all your DHCP here, all your DHCP request will go first to the router, and it will check there whether the DHCP configuration is there or not. If it is not there, it will redirect your request to the server. So for that, here we have one additional command, config terminal interface fa0/0. Going to your interface, as I told you, by default all your interface, all your end devices request for DHCP will go to your router interface, fast Ethernet interface. To this interface only, by default all your request will go. If your router is having DHCP, it will give you. Otherwise, the router has to redirect the request to the server. So this router should know who is my server. Who is my server? As of now, you have configured your DNS server also. So here there will be one command to be added, IP helper address. IP helper, I am helping the request. IP helper to 192.168.1.100. So this command is used to redirect your request of DHCP to your server. Suppose if I am adding one more PC, okay, and making a connection here, okay, fast forward and go to this PC desktop and request for DHCP. Okay, see here, and once you have given it end, WR is the shorthand for right, exit. Okay, so now you can check any number of times. Kindly note it down, your IPs are keep on changing. See, 1.5 before it was 1.2, my PC 1.2, now it is 1.5. So you please understand, by DHCP there is no static IPs. See, now 1.7. So every time when it is requesting, the pool will give different IPs. Okay, so there is no permanent IP in the case of DHCP. Okay, so this is about the local area network creations using Cisco Packet Tracer. Hope you all understand. Thanks for your time.